Hey, listen to that applause, Robert. Woo! I'm telling you. Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Owls Who Live Sports, the Owl Show here at lovely Miller's Ale House on a Wednesday night. It's all about the KSU Owls tonight. Give me a hootie hoo out there.
Hootie hoo!
All right, go Owls. Hey, go Owls, exactly. Say, Robert, what's been happening this week in the Owls world?
A lot of good stuff. Girls volleyball team is just annihilating people as of late. They swept Vermin, then they decided to sweep High Point, and then yesterday they decided to take it to Sanford. Just a few days late, a little bit of revenge for something else maybe, but 9-0 in their past 3 matches, so looking really solid.
That's pretty solid to not drop a game.
Not drop a game so far in this last week. And also, the women's soccer team got on the winning side, took down Presbyterian 2-1 this past week. So,
wow.
So got in the win column there, so that's a good thing for that squad. And then there was a really big game on last Thursday night.
Yes, there was. And it didn't come out the way we hoped or expected.
It did not.
Yep. But Sanford's a pretty good ball club. I think Coach Bo said last week in his press conference that we're going to be playing a lot of different players and a lot of new players. So hopefully they learned a lot about the new players on the field and get them in the right position to get ready to head up to Cincinnati this weekend to take on the Bearcats.
Absolutely. But, although it wasn't what we wanted, this team still had the lead going into the fourth quarter, so they were far from outclassed or anything. Just a few things didn't go their way. They, as Coach Bo alluded to in his press conference, they had a little bit of trouble in the secondary, and that kind of opens up everything in the run game. But I think Coach Bo will have everybody focused and ready to go to Ohio.
Yeah, and they actually were down at the half and came back and took the lead, scored 10 straight points, I think, to go up 17-14, right?
Correct. And the one point that Coach Bo did make during the game in his press conference was offense was 3 out of 11 and defense was 3 out of 11 on third downs. Obviously, if your offense is only getting it 3 times and your defense is only stopping them 3 times, that's going to be pretty tough. But I look for them to get that stuff turned around pretty quick.
Really quick, like within the next 2 days before they make the trip up to Cincinnati.
Yeah, but playing a playoff team from last year, this team has everything ahead of it. I think after these first 2 games, it's really going to prepare this football team for everything they want to do early December.
We have to remember that we're not into conference play yet.
That's correct.
And everything that we do before conference play is a step up, and every game is a learning opportunity for this team.
Absolutely.
Yep. So we got the Bearcats, and then we'll worry about the next opponent next week. 1 game at a time, right?
1 game at a time. And I tell you, that kid Kendall Watson from Sanford, I think there's going to be a lot of teams having a hard time covering him this year.
Yeah, he ran pretty wild against our, I don't want to say, let's say our secondary. Yeah. And hopefully, like you said, the Coach Bo and the defensive staff will get that cleared up, and we'll be ready to move on to play some solid football against Cincinnati. Yeah. And speaking of watching the game last Thursday night, I was here, joined the Owls Club, which I saw you just did.
I just gave my $10. Didn't know it was that easy.
Hootie hoo, and welcome to the Owls Club. We are now officially Owls Club members.
Hey, here's the guy who I gave my money to.
Yeah, and I think he just spent it on a couple of drinks. I'm not quite sure.
I'm good with
but
that. I don't mind. I'm okay with that.
Everybody, put your hands together for Rich Hall of the Owls Club. That's what I'm talking about. Look at Jan Livick over there cheering.
Do I need to put these on?
Yeah, you need to put them on so you can hear us. It might help. Are you there?
I'm here.
All right, cool. Welcome, Rich.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being a fan.
Yeah. Tell us how the Owls Club started.
It's a pretty long story. I'll try to make it short.
Well, we've got an hour. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Started watching some of the athletics, soccer matches, basketball games. I'm a big college baseball person. Started going to the games, and when the football started up, I'd go over it a couple times and watch it, and enjoyed it. I never grew up in Jersey. They didn't really have a lot of college football. It's mostly pro up there.
Other than Rutgers?
Other than Rutgers, but that was
But
only
nobody follows Rutgers.
Yeah, that was a short 4 or 5 year stint.
With
when,
Schiano, yeah.
Ray Schiano was up there.
Yeah.
Ray Rice and those guys. And then at the same time, the woman I work with, her husband is a big Georgia fan, not to push Georgia. But he would take me to some of those games, and I just noticed that there really wasn't any kind of fan organization within KSU. So I took a shot and did some research, contacted the IRS, and figured, what the hell, I'll submit an IRS for a 501c3, see if it gets approved. And I did everything through transparency through the athletic department and with
cool.
Milton and his staff.
Yeah.
So everything was above board. Didn't want to get anybody in trouble with the NCAA.
Very good.
And got it approved in August of 2020. And we've been gathering up memberships at $10 a pop and making donations and finding some sponsors, and it's been taking off pretty good.
And if you want to reach Rich Hall and join, you can text us at 470-9-GO-OWLS. That's 470-9-GO-OWLS. And we'll hook you up with Rich and get you to be a member of the Owls Club. We'll be here together to watch away games when KSU's on the road.
Yep, and we also meet every once in a while at Dry County Brewing. They're one of our sponsors, and we do donate, because we're a 501c, we donate every December to KSUAA. Everything, pretty much everything that we do. And we put in, over the last 2 years, we put in over $6,000.
That's cool.
2 years. It's a slow start.
Something you got to be proud of.
We are. We've got a good core, 10 or 12 people membership. That's a lot.
It might not sound a lot, but when it's $10, that's pretty good.
Yeah, we've one or two small fundraisers, and CARE's been exceptional for us. Dry County's been really good. They've got a couple of Craft for a Cause events for us on a given Sunday, and they donate a good chunk of money towards our efforts. So it's been fun. It's been a good meeting. A lot of the athletic staff and some of the players and coaches, and even expanded a little bit into away from football with the baseball coaching staff and players and basketball.
So how long have you lived in this house?
Lived in Florida for 10 years and then came up here for 10 years.
Okay, so 10 years now.
In Georgia.
And how long of that have you been watching KSU sports?
Probably 7 or 8.
7 or 8? It's a lot of sports.
Yeah, like I said, I actually got it, not involved, but I used to go to all the women's pro soccer matches that played at the stadium. People didn't realize that they were the best players in the world.
Absolutely.
And I decided to stay with soccer and played all through high school soccer and played basketball as well all through high school, and played basketball in college for a few years.
Where'd you play?
I went to a military school, Coast Guard Academy, up in New London, Connecticut for 2 years. And then I played at Lehigh.
Lehigh.
Yeah.
Boy, that's Pennsylvania, right?
Yep, Bethlehem.
Bethlehem?
Bethlehem.
Hey, that's where Jesus was born.
No.
So, what is Lehigh's nickname?
The Engineers.
Wow. That's probably one of the very few college teams I didn't know.
They've engineered many victories in that school.
Yeah, they
Oh, that's funny.
They tried to change it. Well, they have changed their name to the Mountain Hawks, I think it's called now.
The Mountain Hawks?
Yeah, I think that's what it is now.
But you don't call it that.
No, everybody else calls it the Engineers. I mean, their colors are brown and yellow, if you can get the gist, because we're engineers.
Yeah.
So a lot of water treatment plants and all that good stuff.
Flock you now or flock you later?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
there you go.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
good school. They're in the same FCS
Yep.
division as we are. When I was there many years ago, they had a really good football program. I think they
I remember
were in
them
playoffs
being-
for a long time,
yeah.
and they're in and out now. But
Were they Division III?
no, they're well, it was old 1AA.
Yeah, one double
Correct,
A.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had a phenomenal wrestling program too, which seems to be slowly catching up here. But up in the Northeast, wrestling was huge way back when.
Yeah. So we know you're passionate about KSU.
Gates, and between now and December 1, we'll get enough membership. And
All right, so let me ask you a question. You're a soccer man. That's what brought you to KSU. And now you're in charge of the biggest club that football has. Tell me your favorite KSU sporting memory that was not involved with either one of those sports. What's the one? Because there was probably one after a few soccer games where you thought, hey, this might be my ticket.
I would say just some of the baseball games I've gone to.
Baseball.
Coach Co, I've been there last year.
Did you go to the LSU game?
I did. I've gone to a few of the Georgia games over the course of the couple of years.
Yeah.
It's just. I don't have a favorite event. I just enjoy it. And quite honestly, you can't beat the seats.
Correct.
I mean, for the price of the ticket, you can sit literally right behind the home base and home plate and just enjoy everything.
Yeah. We touch on that all the time, that if you have $500 to donate, if you donate it to Alabama or Georgia, you won't even get a postcard in the mail. But if you send it to KSU, that's going to make a big difference. At that same level of conversation, going to games at KSU is really awesome because you're not sitting in a 100,000 person stadium in the top row. You're actually getting a little closer.
Oh yeah, you're literally, if you're sitting behind a home plate, you're literally 50 feet, 40 feet away from the
That's
catcher.
great stuff.
Yeah.
That's great stuff.
Well, I've got to ask you this. When Carrick Martin threw out the first pitch, were you there?
I was not there at that game.
Because I keep hearing it was a strike, but I'm still going to find somebody that can deny that. So,
Just ask him; he'll tell you.
yeah, that's who I got the strike from.
That's
yeah.
who said it was a heater right down the middle.
Oh, gosh. So how far have you traveled to watch the Owls?
A couple of years ago when they played Kent State, we went up to Kent State and watched them play.
Yeah.
Going to Cincinnati this
Are you going
weekend.
this Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Leaving up Friday morning.
Yep.
Driving up?
Excuse me?
Driving
No,
up?
we're flying up.
Okay.
We're getting there early, flying back. We figured the drive up wouldn't be too bad, but we're not sure we're going to be
Absolutely.
prepared to make the drive back.
Drive back.
I
Yeah, so
understand.
I've heard that everybody here in the Owls Club tonight is going except Garrett. Is that right?
I don't think Garrett's going. That's probably a fair statement.
Yeah, he's the only one I've talked to that said they weren't going this weekend.
But he is
so.
going to be running on Saturday. He'll be handling the watch party that we're going to have
Oh, here?
So
That's
Garrett,
awesome.
Garrett still has a job. That's good.
I'll stick my head in and make sure he's doing his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. So what's the mixture? Mostly guys in the Owls Club? I know I met Jennifer the other night, and she's a McEachern High School grad just like me, so it's good to meet
No,
her.
I would say it's a fair mixture of men and women, and no kids, obviously, but definitely men and women. Some parents for the football players, but mostly it's just couples that are tailgaters and,
Right.
and just regular attendees, and we've gotten the word out.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Yes, you have. And what do you do other than meeting at Miller's Ale House in Dry County? Are there other activities throughout the year that you guys host or are you part of?
Well, we meet here every third Thursday, and we open that to the public if anybody wants to come. We try to do watch parties with other sports if we get the opportunity. They're not always on the tube.
Yeah, if you can
Correct.
get them on TV.
If you get them on the tube, but Mark's done a heck of a good job to bring it to us as
They
much
have.
as he can. We do meet at Dry County every once in a while, but we all understand that not everybody's a drinker and enjoys beers, but we do meet there once in a while, and then we'll just do events periodically, try to get people together.
All right.
It's quite honestly, it's tough with I say we have 140 members, we do, but there's probably only 30 or 40 that are fairly active.
Yeah.
So it's as we grow, we hope to get more of a nucleus. We're trying to reach a couple of the fraternities, a couple of the sororities, just to get them involved and try to get some of the students involved and get them participating. And
I know how tough it is getting the sororities. I tried for several times. Well, I was at Georgia Southern, but just didn't work out.
you had trouble with Georgia Southern?
That's the bad part.
All those warrants have expired, though, Chuck. so
Yes,
you're
they
good to
have.
go.
So, and what's the statute of limitations for being arrested is passed too. So I'm good. Yeah. Well, Rich, we thank you for being in with us today. Can I borrow your question and ask Rich?
Absolutely.
So inquiring people out there in the audience and at home want to know, what's your go-to breakfast?
My go-to breakfast.
Now, keep in mind, folks, he's a soccer player and he still looks good. So,
And am I cooking it or am I buying it?
Yes, you are.
cooking.
No, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
whatever
okay.
you want.
Yeah.
Being from New Jersey, there is nothing better than a greasy bacon, Taylor ham, cheese, egg, hard roll.
So you're going with bacon and ham on your
Absolutely.
egg sandwich. Ooh, I
And
like
it's
that.
got to come from a maggot wagon. It can't be made at home.
A maggot wagon?
Well,
A roach coach.
roach coach.
A roach coach?
Yeah.
Those
Roach
are
coach.
is new
That's what we call it
terminology
out
for
here.
me.
The greasier, the better.
Like a Waffle House, but on wheels.
Yep.
Yeah.
The greasier, the better. But and then, if you want to go out to a diner, up north diners are all over the place.
How about they got White Castles in New Jersey?
They used to. I don't know if they still do, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That was the worst hamburger in the world.
Very similar to the Crystal Burger.
I didn't want to say that, but
from the
yes.
South, but yeah.
Yep.
Well, Rich, thanks for being with us, buddy.
Thanks a lot for
and
having
you got
me.
any questions for us? Because we'd love to answer anything you've got.
No, like I said, if your listeners out there, if you want to join and get involved with the Owl Club, please reach out, and we'll get you hooked up. If anybody wants to get involved, certainly we're small, but we're growing, and there's a lot of different avenues that you can take and take your own ideas and grow within us. And if you are going to the game, please wear gold.
There you go.
Because Cincinnati's going to be wearing black, so we got to stand out as a fan base.
Gold on Saturdays for those of you that are attending at the Bearcat Stadium, not black. Will, did you hear that? Will's not paying attention. Will, wear gold Saturday, not black. You got that right.
Will's all over that.
Will's all over that.
And we will be having a watch party here.
Yep. And
For Saturday, 2:30, 2 o'clock, starts kickoff 3:30. So.
And just like the Owls Club is growing, so is the Owls Who Live Sports here in our little show. So hopefully we can grow together and help one another move forward.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Sounds awesome.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you coming
it.
in.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
That's awesome. So Rich Hall, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Rich.
That's you, Maynard.
Jan, you didn't put your hands together for Rich. Maynard Krebs. Hey, Maynard. Thank you. Yeah, we need to clap for Rich. Yeah. So, what do you think by the interview of Rich Hall? Rich is a big guy.
Rich is a very big guy. I liked it where he started out asking permission from the IRS. You should always ask permission from the IRS instead of having the IRS contact you after the fact.
If you're going to make some money, you need to get with the IRS. No doubt about it. So we've had our fan of the day. It's now time for, let's do a little commercial. Robert?
Time for a commercial? I can do that. Do you need a delivery right now, as in go now, please? Bearcat Express has expedited shipping on hand-carried items, car, van, or pickup. Whether it's from Memphis to Charlotte, Atlanta to Athens, or Augusta to Dothan, and all points in between, we've got the drivers to get your stuff where it needs to be. Whether your passport's still on the dresser, your 7-iron isn't in your bag, or you have a dog that hates to fly, Bearcat Express, with their live tracking capabilities, is the team to turn to. We are the go-to courier in the Southeast USA. Check us out at BearcatExpress.com.
Kind of funky that our sponsor is Bearcat Express, and we're playing the Bearcats this weekend. That's kind of wild.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. So, hey, we've got another guest. You want to introduce our player?
We've got more guests. Well, come on in and sit down, sir. Our next guest is former player Cole Loden.
Hey, everybody put your hands together for Cole. I heard 2 claps, Cole, so you're in the hunt,
Thank
baby.
you, Cole Loden.
Thank you, Cole Loden. Yay!
I'm going to point at Jen.
That's what I'm talking about. There you go.
We can't get it for ourselves, but you bring a player up here and everybody starts to cheer.
And everybody's clapping. Cole, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, just hanging out. Glad to be here.
Happy to have you here.
So, Cole, you're a former defensive back from 2018 to 21.
Yes, sir.
How'd you like it?
Oh, I loved it.
Loved it?
Yeah, I came in my freshman year as a walk-on, so it was rough. Got redshirted. That was back when red shirts, you couldn't play at all. If you played a snap, you were out.
I gotcha.
So that whole first year scout team player at Kennesaw was brutal. So first year, calling home, wanting to leave, wanting to hang it up. It was tough. But then now looking back, wouldn't do it any different. Ended up being a full ride player, getting a lot of playing time. Super blessed. Got to play with my little brother. So that was pretty cool.
Who's still playing, correct?
Who's still playing.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So it was awesome. Like, I wouldn't trade my experience for the world. It was most fun I've ever had in my life playing college football with my brother.
And what position does he play?
He got switched to wide receiver this year, but he came in as a safety, got moved to Sam linebacker. Now he's a wide receiver. He's just a utility player. You can stick him anywhere.
All right, so since I'm a little off topic here, let me just ask, did your brother have better hands than you? They moved him to that side of the ball. I'm just
Hey, you'll have to ask him. If you ask him, he's going to say yes. If you ask me, I'm going to say absolutely not.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let me ask you a question. What was it like having your junior year during the spring of 21 and your senior year in the fall of 21 to have both seasons just rammed together like that?
It was tough. It was really hard on my body personally because like that was towards the end of my career. So I'm starting to feel bumps and bruises a lot more. My heart goes out to the guys. If you
it gets worse when you get older. Just
yeah, I've been told. My dad tells
does.
me it every day. But yeah, no, my heart goes out to the players that got injured in the spring season and that put them out for a whole nother season.
Correct.
So that was tough. I was blessed enough to not have that happen to me, but the recovery time was really tough. Our strength coordinator, Coach K, had to redirect our whole summer training into more of, usually it's a bulk and getting bigger, and we had to recover for a while. So it was tough, the back-to-back seasons, but also fun because I was a baseball player, so the thing that's great about baseball, it's year-round. You're always playing games. Football in the off-season, you'd be like, all right, when are we going to play a football game? Because
right.
that training, off-season training's tough. So that was cool, like going from season, short little off-season, and then back to games. That was cool.
Pretty tired at the start of this year, though?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So at the start of the fall season, everybody was pretty wore out. So,
So I believe I met your wife.
yeah.
So you met her here and you stayed.
Yes.
So you're
yeah.
you're a South Georgia boy who's turned into a Metro Atlanta guy.
Oh, I don't know if I'd say that. I'm not a fan of the traffic, but I'm here for right now.
Yeah,
so
I understand that.
always South Georgia at heart, though. So.
St. Mary's.
So I've got a South Georgia question for you.
Okay.
If you were driving along a dark South Georgia road at night and you only had one spot in your car for somebody and there was 3 people standing on the side of the road and one of them was wearing a Colquitt County shirt, one was wearing a Lowndes County shirt, and the other one had a Valdosta shirt. Are you picking anybody up or is everybody walking home?
Everybody's walking home.
That's what I like
Everybody's
to
walking
hear.
home.
That's what I
Yeah.
like to hear.
What's your
Colquitt person, I might give him a little bump too as I'm driving by. I might give him a little love tap with the car.
Spit on them on the way by.
just a little tap him into the Lowndes County guy.
Yeah.
So who were your big opponents in high school?
So our region was Colquitt County, Lowndes. When I was a freshman and sophomore, Valdosta was in it. Then 7A was created, and they dropped out and stayed 6A. We went 7A.
Right.
So
Did you ever play McEachern?
I did play McEachern my senior year.
Playoffs? Was it playoffs? Or
No,
was
it was in season. It was
Wow.
like our second or third game, which is funny because we talk about it all the time. I was a kick returner my senior year.
So you did have hands.
I did have hands.
All right.
And my brother was one of the back wall for blocking. It was opening kickoff. Actually, it was the second kickoff because we muffed the first one, scooped and scored. Second kickoff, so second play of the game. As soon as I caught the ball, my brother just like olays his block, just lets him run right past him, and I got destroyed. Like one of the few times in my high school career that like I had one of those ooh, but it was against me. Like I was like flat on my back. And I go back and watch film, and it's my brother. Like, literally just watches the guy, and he says...
Did he hold up the red blanket and pull it up?
Yeah, exactly. He says, he was like, he wasn't in my lane, like I wasn't supposed to block him. Dude ran right past him and destroyed me, like seeing stars. So that's how my start of the McEachern game started.
And was that game up here?
No, it was in Camden.
So they
Oh,
traveled
wow.
the 4.5 hours. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's why I figured it was in the playoffs, because a lot of people don't schedule high school playoff games
Yeah.
where you have to be on a
Yeah,
bus
and
that long.
that's what's rough about Camden County. All your region games are 2.5 hours away.
Right.
So, like, here it's so great. Like, it's 15 minutes away to go play a game.
Right.
Us, like, we are always on the cheese buses traveling 2.5 hours to our games.
I
So-
have to ask you who won the game.
McEachern.
I went to McEachern.
Oh,
Sorry
okay.
about that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I asked. But
Yeah,
that's
no,
okay.
we had a rough senior year, so yeah.
Did you? So why KSU? What other schools contacted you about playing there?
So I had a variety of different schools. The recruiting process for me wasn't all the glory that you see on like social media and stuff. I had a lot of people interested, but the thing about the recruiting process, if nobody pulls the trigger, no one's gonna like give you a scholarship or anything like that. They wait, and they see that you don't have any offers, so they try to get you for a walk-on and get you for free. So I had walk-on offers just about anywhere you can think of, and so many schools were like, oh, we're going to offer next week, and it just never came. I think the coolest one, I got called my junior year, going into my senior year by UGA. A linebacker coach hit me up, offered me a preferred walk-on, and at the time, I thought that was an insult, because I was like, I'm not going on for a preferred walk-on, like I'm a scholarship player. And what really sold me on Kennesaw was they never lied to me. They were always up front, like, hey, like right now you're a preferred walk-on guy. If this guy drops off our list, we'll give you a scholarship, but right now you're a preferred walk-on. and they literally showed me the board where I was at. And I think it was just their transparency throughout the recruiting process. I knew where I stood the whole time.
Makes
really,
a big difference.
Yeah, it was huge. It was a huge
Yeah.
difference.
Transparency.
And Coach Klein, he's a defensive line coach. He was the only recruiting coordinator when he would come and visit my school and come and visit me. He was the only guy that remembered my mom's name. And that like really stuck out with me. He met her the first time he came to Camden, and when he came back, he asked how my mom was doing by her name, and that just kind of stuck with me.
Absolutely.
So, and it was some like crazy things. Like my position coach, he was one of my favorite coaches at the time. His name was Chastain. I came to Kennesaw Chastain Road. I wanted to go into business. I walk in the business building. It says Cole's School of Business. I'm like, I guess this is my home
This
now.
is
So
it.
yeah, so it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That is cool. That's got to be a tough part of recruiting, is building those relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, God bless the coaches that can do it, but because that's a tough road to hoe, and it says something about you that those are the kind of things that stuck with you.
Yeah.
As a person. So that's very, very.
That's
cool
what
to me.
some Kennesaw's always really good about. And Coach Bo has a rule where they never offer a player unless they meet them in person or unless they come in to us and like do a tour. Because all these coaches will just throw out offers, and then it comes to like signing day and that offer's no longer there. They just
130 offers and we only had 20 things to actually offer.
Yeah, so the offer's gone. So
Correct.
A lot of teams just throw out offers. Kennesaw's really good about being transparent, and then like they're not just going to throw out an offer. Like the only way you get an offer is if you're really freaking good, and then if you come and like show that you're committed to like getting to know us and us getting to know you. So that's really cool about Coach Bo and his coaching staff. They do a really good job when it comes to recruiting.
That's awesome.
So coming from St. Mary's, what was your first? I'm sure you'd been to Atlanta before, but what was your first trip like to be on campus up here?
It was pretty cool. So I drove myself, and I got lost trying to find the football offices because we're
285.
yeah. So we
Pascual Perez.
yeah. So we're still like it was still like in the same spot it is, but hopefully we get new facilities here soon. But it's not like a typical football facility that's at the stadium. So I was going around almost late to my first meeting. It was like my first day moving in. I could not find the place. So it was kind of stressful my first day. But ever since then, I think Kennesaw is like the perfect location for college because we don't live in the mess of Atlanta, but it's easily accessible like whenever you want to experience it. It's just 25 minutes away. Brave Stadium's 15 minutes away. I think it's perfect location to where you're not in the like heat of the mess, but like if you ever want to enjoy that lifestyle or just take a trip with the boys, like it's right there at your hand. So I think it's a perfect spot.
And that is a great hat on your head, just for the record.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So does your wife let you go hang out with the boys?
Oh, not so much anymore. That ship's kind of sailed now.
That's why she's here tonight. Right?
Yeah. It's kind of a weird transition phase because all my buddies are still playing college ball and like still in that college scene, and I'm kind of moved on past that. I still like love some of my best friends are like still players on the team, and like one of them's a coach on the team.
One of them your brother?
Yeah, one of them's my brother.
Just checking to see
yeah,
if he
so
made
it's
that
just
list.
different paths right now, so it's kind of an awkward transition, but yeah.
So let me ask you this. What was your favorite KSU memory that did not come from football? Like maybe you were walking around the campus one time, stumbled on a basketball game or something else. Do you have anything that might have happened?
I have plenty of stories that were just awesome, like stories from when I lived in the dorms at ARC, just dorm hopping and going and seeing different friends and like just popping in other people's dorms. And like most of the athletes from all the sports at Kennesaw live at ARC. So just going in and out of dorms and like just seeing what people were up to was always so much fun. Sometimes we get all the athletes, like the softball team, soccer team, volleyball team, and like we'd have kickball out front of the dorms or like have competitions.
Right.
So that was always fun. And then we talk about some of the most fun stuff that like us not playing football, but we have dinners all the time as a team. Some of the greatest laughs I've ever had is just at the dinner table.
50 people at the
yeah,
table.
Yeah, it's so funny. So yeah, there's so many memories where like just the student life. I can't really pinpoint like this was my favorite non-football memory, but like so much of the student life as an athlete and like mingling with other athletes around campus was so much fun.
And that's something that you'd probably share with other prospective athletes on how much fun it just was at
Absolutely.
KSU, not just in the program.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your go-to food for football games?
For football games?
When you're watching, you're at the house, she can't make you anything because she's taking care of the baby that's almost here.
Yeah.
What are you eating? What's your go-to?
Probably, I'm a big burgers and fries guy, either that or wings. So, yeah.
What kind of wings?
Usually hot wings.
Okay.
So, lately I've been kind of on a sweeter trend, but either that or barbecue. So,
I'm a lemon pepper
like
guy.
lemon pepper.
I like the mango habanero when I'm feeling a little sweet, a little hot.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
kind of
I like
Mango
it.
habanero wings. Wow.
those can be intense, folks.
So tell me, all the places you've played with KSU, what's your favorite stadium you've been to other than Fifth Third Bank?
Oh, yeah. Other than Fifth Third Bank, one of my favorite stadiums, I didn't even get to play in the game because I was a redshirt, but I got Scout Team Player of the Week. So they pick one Scout Team Player of the Week from offense, one from defense to travel with the team. And we went to Montana State, and that was the coolest
Now,
atmosphere.
What city is that in? Is that Billings or Missoula or
It's in Montana.
Yeah, it's in Montana.
Adam the intern? Montana State, please.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it was from, but that was my first time ever seeing snow. So
Right.
Oh,
when
really?
you came, yeah, and that's the best first experience. Better than here, like when you see flurries. Like I didn't want that to be my first experience, but it snowed like 12 inches the day we arrived. We had like a snowball fight as soon as we got off the plane in the airport, and it was just an unreal experience. And then a huge win. That's
Bozeman.
Bozeman. Yep. So that was cool, and the other one was Utah when we played at Weber State. That one was pretty cool, but I'd say Montana State was the coolest one for me just because of the experience.
Because of the snow?
Yeah, and the big win. So, and I didn't even get to play in it.
Wins never hurt memories.
Yeah. So that's why Weber State. Nah,
Not as
it was a
much.
cool stadium, but didn't end the way we wanted to. But
Well, outside of the ones you've played in, what's the one stadium you'd love to go see?
one stadium I'd like to go see
Or watch a game at?
or watch a game at. I'd probably say
Probably not McEachern, Chuck.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't think so.
my dad would kill me because it's not SEC, but probably Penn State. It looked like it was a pretty amazing
Valley.
atmosphere. Yeah.
It is an amazing experience up there.
Yeah.
Have you been
The-
to Penn State?
I have been to Penn State.
Wow,
the
that's
videos
cool.
I've seen are like really amazing.
You know, the whole thing about Penn State, or when you get into one of those big schools that's not near a large city, that's all those people have in central Pennsylvania. So I
College
mean,
town.
they really show up in force.
Yeah. So I've been to a multitude of different SEC stadiums because I grew up going to Florida football games. So,
So are you a Gator fan?
oh yeah, that's where my dad played football at. So it's kind of a requirement.
My new best friend.
Chuck hates the Gators, but anybody who
I
doesn't
hate
say
the
dogs.
I hate the dogs.
It's really like it's nothing against their football team. It's the fans. It's
not-
the fans.
and
That's what I say about the
Hey,
Gators.
hey, you stay out of this. You stay out of it. So it's not the fans that went to Georgia. I have no problem with my friends
Okay, yeah.
that graduated from Georgia and be true to your school. I believe in that.
Yeah.
But it's the people that have never set foot on a college campus, and the most intelligent thing they can say in their lives is, "How about them dogs?"
Yeah, the
Those are the
grown
fans.
man barking at you. You're like, what are you doing?
He's on the show every week. Cole's the man.
He might be on the show every week, but you guys have not made any good statements in the last 2 minutes. None of it makes sense.
So what's Ben Hill like? I'd love to go to a game there. I've never been there.
It's incredible.
The swamp's pretty cool. Isn't
It is incredible. Yeah, and apparently this was one of the cool. The past week is one of the most packed out games and coolest atmospheres ever.
so
I
they
wish
said
I could have
the-
gone to that
The
one.
largest
Utah.
crowd they've ever had for an opening game.
Yeah. So it looked amazing. But Ben Hill, I got the full experience because my dad was alum, so we got to go in the facility. Sometimes we got to go to the preseason player barbecue. That was always cool. So I grew up there going as a kid, so I think it's the coolest stadium.
So what year did your dad play?
85 to 87.
85 to 87.
And what did he play?
He played safety and punt returner.
Is that what inspired you to become a safety?
Oh yeah. He was my coach all growing up, so he taught me how to play defense. So
So now, who was his coach then? It wasn't Spurrier. at that
no,
point.
he just missed Spurrier.
Correct.
If you wouldn't ask me, I could have told you.
I do that a lot. Don't worry about it.
I just know his senior year was Emmitt Smith's first year,
Adam the intern,
His
who coached the
senior-
Florida Gators,
okay,
85 to 87.
and then his quarterback was Kerwin Bell.
Kerwin Bell. I remember
was his
him.
quarterback.
Yeah.
There's a name that has never been mentioned on either one of our shows.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Very cool.
Kerwin, who?
Hall.
Not Joe B. Hall. That was basketball. Oh, Hall. What was his name? I remember him. Galen Hall. Does that sound familiar?
I don't know why that doesn't sound familiar, but
It didn't
I
sound
guess it's
familiar
right.
because he didn't do well and he got fired, and then Spurrier took over.
Yeah, it's funny
And
because
he did well.
the years my dad was there, they were like under suspension for illegal recruiting or something. Like they couldn't go to bowls until my dad's senior year, and then he got to go to the Aloha Bowl his senior year.
Oh, that's cool.
So
At least you got to go to
If you're
Hawaii,
ever,
right?
If you're ever going to go to one bowl game, that's a pretty good one.
that's what he said. Yeah, he
bad
said it was
team to go
awesome.
to. Yeah, that's cool. Well, getting back to the Owls, I guess we should talk about them. Although I could talk about anything non-Georgia all show. But did you watch the game Saturday?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what advice would you give to the defensive backs?
You know, I think the coaches are going to get them right. The first game, we have a history, if you're a fan of Kennesaw, like not having hot starts to our first game. So whenever we play really good opponents, it usually looks pretty ugly. And then even when we play opponents lesser than us, we struggle with them. So I think it's just a combination of the triple. If you talk to their linemen, it takes a while, and it starts up front. It takes a while for the linemen to get going with that triple option offense. It's hard to get going at first. It takes game reps. And then I think a lot of it was the change of rules to cut blocking. That's hurting the offense right now because if you look at the academies and the other triple option team, which is Citadel, all of them lost at Saturday. So all of them are really struggling, and you could see that a lot of our offensive plays were in between the tackle, and we weren't really getting to the perimeter that much. I don't know if that's because Coach Chestnut saw something up the middle and between the tackles, which is usually the case. He sees something, and so we stick with it. But I think it's going to take a while to get those game reps of not being able to cut on the perimeter.
And you recruit a different kind of lineman for the triple option than you do for
Absolutely.
a T-back.
And that's the thing I was talking about with another buddy of mine is the running backs we got are speed, smaller running backs that are built for being able to cut block and get underneath their legs. We don't really recruit stocky running backs that can like do a stand-up block on a 240 linebacker that's scraping.
For 5 seconds.
Yeah, and that's what they're asking for now with the new rule. So I think that was tough. Defensively, I think it's just first game, you know. I think they're going to get a lot better from week 1 to week 2. Even playing Cincinnati, I think we're going to give them a really good fight and give them a run for their money. Hopefully come out with a W. That's what I'm always planning for when I watch Kennesaw State football. But I think defensively they're going to be fine. And up front, they're doing really good from what I saw. We got a good amount of depth as long as we can stay healthy defensively. But offense, I think we're not going to see the explosive Kennesaw State offense until maybe like week 3, week 4, when they start getting more. Like they're still going to do really well, but I think they need those game reps because practice reps are completely different than game reps sometimes.
Absolutely.
So I think it's just going to getting that blocking scheme right for our offense to start seeing Isaac Foster on 40-yard runs and stuff like that. So,
well, you know, and Coach Bo's a man's man when it comes to coaching football. So at the end of the day, I've always kind of sided with if you've got a team, let them lose a game in the beginning, just so you have to listen to it. So, you know, if the team keeps winning, well, then maybe I don't have to listen to Coach because we're just that good. But, you know, you lose a game and now Coach has got your attention, and I think he's going to be fine after the
yeah, and I think with that statement, I think it's always good to get a humbling experience in the beginning of the season than getting your first real opponent in the playoffs and then punching you in the mouth, which has happened before. And Kennesaw State is we just worked everybody in our regular season, and then when we all of a sudden we're down going into the second half in the playoffs, it's like, whoa, like
we've not been here. We don't know what this is about.
So I think it's good having that humbling experience. I wish we could have been humbled without losing. That's always good, but that's the great thing about Coach Bo and being an incredible head coach is he's going to get them right. So there's nothing that we have to worry about as fans because there's going to be a huge change from week 1 to week 2, and I think we're going to see that on Saturday.
And they never hung their heads against Sanford. They were actually down 14-7.5, right?
Yeah.
And came back and took the lead at 17-14.
And credit to Sanford because if you watch them defensively, they played really good assignment football. It's very easy playing against the triple, being able to get confused and lost and like everything going on. They really keyed on to their responsibility and kind of shut us down for a little while. And their offense did really well too with the hurry-up tempo offense. I don't think in the beginning we responded too well. Like watching them, like there was guys not set. We weren't getting our play calls in and communicated across the defense. So I think they kind of got us off guard a little bit. I think we didn't give them enough credit going into the game. Yeah. So
well, tell me this, and this is something I always wanted to know. We've talked about this before, Robert. when you're playing somebody that runs a triple option, and you've got from the end of last year to the beginning of this year
Absolutely.
to practice against triple option, it's a lot easier on a week-to-week basis.
Absolutely. And that's why the triple works really well, because you only have, if you think about it, 4 or 5 days to prepare, because you think you get
And there's only a couple teams.
Yeah, there's only a couple teams. You have to readjust your entire defensive scheme, and like you got to reteach your guys, and you really only have 4 to 5 days. You don't have all 6 days, because one of them's a travel day and one of them's like a prep day. So you really have 4 days, 3 days to prepare to go against a lot of guys have never seen the triple before.
Right.
So that's why it works so well.
The week before it was a 3 wide receiver set and 2 tight ends, and now all of a sudden.
Absolutely. So maybe that's why our history of like rocky starts. Maybe that could be because the team had all off season to prepare for that game.
So being a Georgia Tech man and knowing that Coach Bo has put his own twist on the triple option, but yes, it has always worked out that way against Georgia Tech. I know.
Yeah, Georgia Tech, when they ran it, they had a better chance of winning if it wasn't somebody that they played.
Week 2 through the last game of the year, but week 1 and bowl games, not so much.
Because they had plenty of time to prepare.
Yeah, we'll see. And that's like if a team's coming off a bye week, they play a lot better than us. So
Sure. But luckily, what Georgia Tech used to have the problem with bowl games, you'll never have because there's playoffs. And it's still only 1 week to try to get ready, and very difficult, very difficult.
Awesome. Well, you want to ask him your question before we leave? I know you asked him your football one, but
No, you
I mean
ask. You ask.
all right. What's your go-to breakfast?
my go-to breakfast. So the Commons, I really miss this. The Commons breakfast on campus was amazing because my favorite food is pancakes, and they always have pancakes. So I would always load up. That's why I'm 20 pounds lighter than I am right now, or when I was
Are
playing.
they big fluffy ones or little flat ones?
It depends on the day and the cook.
Okay.
There's some days you walk in, it's a little disappointing. But no, I'd always get a bunch of pancakes, eggs, grits on top of the eggs. They'd have hash browns or tater tots, and I just drown everything in syrup with chocolate milk.
So let me ask you this now, because I just got this vision of your plate. Some people like to put 6 different things on their plate, but never have any of them touch. It sounded like yours is just.
It's all together.
It's all going down the same way.
It's all together. So yeah, I love it. That's how I eat all my food. Everything it ends up getting mixed together at some point.
So you're at IHOP. Rudy Tooty, Fresh and Fruity, or chocolate chip?
Neither, because nobody likes IHOP's pancakes.
You know what? I don't mind them. Nowhere near Cracker Barrel.
There you go.
But
Cracker Barrel's pancakes.
the 5-stack buttermilk pancakes are always my go-to at IHOP, and then I might get like just the sirloin tips with it.
Wow.
To move.
So no chocolate chips and whipped cream on your pancakes?
No.
He's eating steak, Chuck. The man's eating steak with his syrup.
It's steak with syrup. That's a topping. I've heard of A1, but I've never heard of syrup.
It's going on with you, try it.
Like I said, it all mixes up together sooner or later.
Yeah, that's funny. All right. Well, you got anything else?
I do not. It's
Man,
great to meet you.
What a thrill to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
And he's going to hook us up with some of his other buddies. We'll bring you some other KSU athletes on the show. And ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Cole.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And if you would, when you go down there and see Will, I'm going to bring Will on the show. Come on, Will. I want you. Robert, give us a commercial while we're waiting on Will.
I'm going to do a commercial while we're waiting on Will because Will didn't know he was coming, so he
I
probably
mentioned it to him earlier.
Modern Image is a locally owned document photograph scanning company that helps clients secure in newspaper files and photos. Whether it's important business files or sentimental family photos and videos, Modern Image is dedicated to helping clients solve problems around paper. Say it, Chuck.
Go Dogs.
Thank you.
I hate to say that. It's my least 2 favorite words to say every week. You
Here
know
we
that. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Will Renfro in the house. So, Will, being on site last week, we want to ask you about what the atmosphere was like.
Okay. Well, the crowd was probably one of the best road crowds we've had in a long time.
How many people made the trip, maybe?
I don't know. It was at least a couple hundred, I think. Cool. I mean, for a Thursday night game, it was many more than I expected.
That's very tough.
There was not a lot of people tailgating. But then again, a lot of them just drove over for the game. So
We did see him on TV a couple of times.
I try to make myself know.
I tried to take a picture, but it was gone before I could do it. I was going to text it to you. So, we had you on last week when we made our picks, right?
Right.
So I wanted to get you back up here. I don't remember one game. The only game I missed was Kennesaw.
We all missed that.
Yes, we did. So that was not yet. But we're going to make our picks again. I want to get you open, get you into it. We like having you open. And, yep. So, Robert, you want to start with going over the games and taking your shot?
Where would you like me to start?
How about,
Let me start at the bottom.
okay.
Virginia Wise versus North Alabama. Let me tell you
Who the
that.
heck is Virginia
It took
Wise?
a lot of trying to find out information on Virginia Wise. And everybody else was just telling me that they were only playing one game this year versus North Alabama. Finally found their schedule. Yes, it's rather small. Most of those teams you've never heard of. So I might not say this again throughout the year, but I'm going to take North Alabama this year.
Okay. What do you think? You know
North
anything
Alabama's
about
a good school. I don't know anything about Virginia Wise, but North Alabama's a good school. And if they're playing at home, I would go.
They
with
are.
North
Yeah,
Alabama.
they got beat last week on the road, so it's their first North Alabama home game. All right, Robert.
Jack State at one of our old Three Guys Who Love Sports home teams, Murray State.
The Racers of Murray State.
Those Racers have some great basketball teams. I'm not sure about their football team.
Yeah, probably say that's true.
I'm going Jack State.
Jack State over Murray State.
Correct. I'm going with my
Sorry, Steve.
I'm going with what I said last week. So Jack State stays undefeated until KSU shows up, and then we take that from them. So.
There you go. I like the way that sounds.
What about you?
I'm not going to argue with you on that.
I'm
one.
coming in at the last with Chuck's Chumps. You go. You do all your games.
I'm
yeah.
doing all my stuff.
Yeah.
Mississippi and Central Arkansas.
Do we even need to discuss it?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Bowling Green in Eastern Kentucky. Once again, Eastern Kentucky not looking so good. Taking Bowling Green big in that game. And then this is my favorite pick of the there's two picks left, but my favorite pick of the week is Mississippi Valley State at Austin Peay. So
Or P.
I don't believe that Jerry Rice still plays for Mississippi Valley State, does he?
He's gone.
He is gone, so he will not be there in uniform. This is the last. I'm going out on another prediction here. This is the last game Austin Peay wins this year.
Wow. Now you know
Even after they put up 60
they put
points last week?
63 points.
On
Oh,
Presbyterian.
I wasn't going to say that.
Well, no, you got to bring up that point. Presbyterian might have a good women's volleyball team or soccer team that we just took care of, but in the realm of football, not so much. So
They had more than a run in their hose this past weekend.
I'm gonna take them for their second and final victory of the year. I think it's all downhill for them for the rest of the year. And then the big game, just across the Ohio River. Call me a homer. That's why I'm sitting here on KSU Sports Talk Show. But I like KSU. I think Arkansas pushed Cincinnati around a little bit. I know that they got a lot of bumps, a lot of headaches. I think Bo's going to get these guys ready, and I think we're going to put up a good game, a really good game.
I do too. Cole was very specific about the fact that it's good to have a bad one game in some ways, in that you get a little bit of a humble pie taste in your mouth, and you want to play better next week. So I think all this crew, I think everybody here is heading up to Cincinnati other than Garrett, right?
Yeah, I'm flying up Friday, so.
Yep. So Garrett's going to head up the Owls Club here at Miller's Ale House on
I know we may have one of our players back that we didn't have last week. So the
Inside
center,
information.
Yeah, the center, Matt Olson, was out the first week, and so James Dawson filled in at center. He's not a natural center, but
Moved over from guard or something.
yeah, and so Matt was supposed to be. He should be back. I talked to his dad, and his dad says, "Now his dad played at Illinois, by the way."
Okay.
Wow.
And part of the family's from Wisconsin. They're bringing 18 family members to Cincinnati.
Oh, my
I said,
gosh.
he
That's
better show up and play then.
He better
And
go
that's
up
what
and play
I'm sure
well.
that's what they told him too.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Any other scoops for us before I get into Chuck's Chumps?
That's the only inside scoop I had.
All right,
That's a pretty good scoop.
All
That's
right, Chuck's
middle of the
Chumps
line.
coming up. You're going to love this. I love this. Chuck's Chumps. The Governors dragged their tails home after a loss at Eastern Michigan in a pretty high-scoring affair, while the Falcons of Bowling Green got mauled by the Bruins of UCLA. Somebody goes to 0-2 this week. At least the Colonels don't have to leave the state this week, but they get clawed. Chuck's Chump, Eastern Kentucky.
Oh.
Mississippi Valley State at Austin Peay. Governors rebounded better than Dennis Rodman with a 63-0 thrashing of Presbyterian. This week they host the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley State, who lost to Tarleton, who I have never heard of. The Devils will travel back to the Dalton with their pitchforks between their tails. Jerry Rice is gone. Chuck's Chump, Mississippi Valley State. Central Arkansas at OK Miss. You're going to love this one, I think, Robert. The Bears of Central Arkansas were outbeared by the Missouri State last week. Now they drive down Kiffin Lane with a rebel yell. The Ole Miss team will score more. Chuck's Chump, Central Arkansas.
Lane Kiffin and Billy Idol rolled into one.
Rolled into one state, baby. Jack State at Murray State. The Gamecocks race north to meet Murray State of the OVC. By the time Jack State's backfield races through the Murray State defense, they will wish they had a eraser to wipe out all the points. Chuck's Chump, Murray State.
You're going to get an email about that one.
I may. UVA Wise at North Alabama Lions. The Wise guys travel to Alabama for a tilt with the Lions of North Alabama. They are very cavalier to think they can walk into the Lions' den and walk away with a win. The Lions' main goal is to not let that happen. Chuck's Chump, UVA Wise.
That's wise to not go with them.
I thought so, yes. So, and at last but not least, Kennesaw State at Cincinnati. The Bearcats and the Owls both coming off a loss in week one. Bearcats got beat by a bunch of sloppy pigs. Owls were at least beat up some by some mean Bulldogs. This week somebody's going to be 0-2, but it won't be the black and gold. Where there's a Will Renfro, there's a way. There are many ways to skin a Bearcat, and the Owls will find a way. Chuck's Chump, the Cincinnati Bearcats.
And outside of Will being one of the greatest guests we could ever have on the show, that last line was why he's sitting there.
That's why I had to bring Will up, because I snuck him into Chuck's Chumps this weekend. So, Will, tell us about the trip this week. Who's going? How many people?
Well, there's several of us going. I don't know the final number, but we're all staying at the Fairfield Inn right next to the school. So if you want to party on Friday night, come to the Fairfield Inn.
Fairfield Inn near the
If somebody
Bearcat
in
Stadium.
Cincinnati watches this, I'm in trouble.
That's what everybody says in Cincinnati.
That's
Meet
what
me at the
we'll-
Fairfield Inn.
Meet me at the Fairfield Inn. And don't tell anybody.
And somebody tell me where to find some good Skyline chili. That's what I want to know.
Oh, I can find that out
So
for you.
chili with spaghetti.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was hoping you were going to get no, why? Why would you do that? I don't know. It's
Well, there's
the
a
only part
place
of
in
America
Marietta
that does it.
Or it used to be in Marietta called Rocco's Pub.
Correct.
And
yeah,
they
you're
serve
down at
chili
County
mac.
Country,
Yeah.
shopping center, yeah.
And I used to go there and get chili mac, which I assume is the
Best
same
chili,
thing.
absolutely.
But they've moved to Jasper now.
That's
Yep.
correct.
So Danny's up there.
I ate there on Saturday,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Did you really?
I did, right after we left Jeep Fest.
But we plan on putting on a tailgate. There's one of our group members is driving up, I think Wednesday or Thursday.
Bringing the gear.
He's taking his truck, and he says he's going to reserve a spot at the top of one of the parking decks,
Nice.
and we're going to party there. So
Grill, smoker, whatever he's got.
I don't know what I said. Whatever you want to bring, you bring.
Sure.
I'm on a plane. I can't. I'm very limited.
Right, sure.
Although one day I will tell you about us taking a grill on a plane. Garrett did that.
Tell me about it.
Garrett is a wild man,
So when we played Sam Houston, we were going to. Obviously he and I were flying into Houston because Sam Houston's probably 45 minutes north of the city,
Yep.
and we wanted a grill, and so Garrett decided I can get enough clothes in a carry-on, and I can fit a small grill in a checked bag with a bag of charcoal. So he literally checked a bag with charcoal, a grill, utensils, and sent it through checked bag all the way to Houston.
I can just see Garrett in the lane as they're, sir, Can you please empty your pocket? That's a spatula. That's
Are
why
you happy
were
to see me, or is that a spatula in your pocket? Yeah.
And and so we went to HEB. I don't know if you ever go to Texas, you got to go to HEB. It's a great grocery store.
Okay.
And the only reason I say it's a great grocery store is I walked in and there's like in Georgia we'd have like the produce section and the bakery. They were making fresh hot tortillas. I mean, I had a machine fresh. I was like, we need this in Georgia.
How cool is that?
But we got food there. We're back to the hotel because they had a knife and all in the checked baggage. And so we're back there. We made skewers to grill at the Sam Houston game.
That's awesome.
It turned out really good.
That's awesome. Well, don't forget, if you're not going to make it to Cincinnati, Garrett will be hosting a Owls party right here at Miller's Ale House. Oh, yes, you will. What do you mean? What are you telling me no for? I know you'll be here. Garrett's hosting an Owls watch party right here. Kickoff is 3:30 on Saturday afternoon.
3:30
against the Bearcats. And it will be time to hooty hoo, and we will be rocking and rolling with the Owls.
It's as much a watch for Will party as it is a watch the Owls party.
A watch for Will? Yeah, I realized that when I was at the Owls party the other night. It was like,
Where's
where's Will?
Will?
Where's Will? Where's Will? Where there's a Will Renfro, there's a way. That's all I've got to say. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us again, Will. Always a thrill to have you. A thrill for Will. Will the Thrill.
Appreciate
Renfro. And Robert, another great show.
Awesome show.
Always good to talk about the Owls, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I was going to throw Garrett under the bus for not traveling, but now knowing that he smuggled a charcoal and a grill through TSA, he kind of moves him up my ladder a little bit.
Yeah, he's moving up the list.
Guys,
way up. Thanks for joining us on the Owls Who Live Sports tonight here at Mel's House. Sean, as always, you the man. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great week. Hooty hoo!
Hooty hoo!